But because now bombs are the only thing that you can use, the only thing that you can use, the only thing that you can use.
Welcome my children to the extensive guide on how to use rockets. Now the first thing you must understand is how rockets work. There are currently two types of rockets in the game. Heat and AG. Now you might think to yourself, heat is the best rocket because it has penetration and some explosive mass. The only problem is that heat shells don't work that way. The explosive mass is used in the process of penetration, so it's basically an AP shell. Now, rockets now work like normal tank shells. AKA the RP3 would work the same as an E shell of its size. AKA 152mm. This is why most rockets are useless. In this video I will be going over most of them, and which ones are best. Let's start with good old America. The most common rockets the Americans have is the HVAR. HVARs used to be really strong, but now you are lucky to kill stuff with it. To use it effectively, only engage SPAAs and lightly armored vehicles. Otherwise you will have a hard time going through anything, because you have to hit the top of the vehicle, which can prove quite difficult in combat conditions. The Americans also have tiny TIMs. They are big rockets that fly real slow, but have a lot of explosive mass. They are really effective as you generally don't have to aim. And the Hydras. The Hydras are basically good HVARs. Now for the Germans. If you think Germany is about guns and bombs, even though it probably has the best guns and bombs for close air support in the game, the rockets do not disappoint. The Germans only have one real good rocket of their own. The Werfer Granate, or the Waffle Grenade. You get these bad boys on the Focke-Wulf 190A5 and A8, and on the Bf-109G6. There is 10 kilograms of explosive in each one of them, and you fire 2 at a time. It is important to note that they are not centered, which means the reticle might not be in the center, which does make it hard to aim. Also you only get 2 of them on the fighters, so you rarely get more than 1 kill. Other than that they are really powerful. The only other notable rockets Germany gets are on the CL-13 and the MiG-15. On the CL-13 you get HVARs, and on the MiG you get S-21s. I would recommend S-21s. But it is fun to bully AFVs and SPAAs with HVAR. Now for Mother Russia. When it comes to props you only get one good rocket. That is the RS-132. You can also use the RBS-132, but it's not as reliable as it is a heat rocket, and relies on penetration. On jets you have quite a few more choices. You have the S-21s on the late MiGs, and S-5Ks, which I don't recommend using as they are small heat rockets. Other than that you get S-24s on the IL-28SH. They are basically upgraded S-21s. It is important to note that Russia doesn't have good rockets, and relies quite a lot more on bombs and guns. Speaking of guns. The T-boys are quite controversial, and at one point you could say hated by some players as they had arguably the best rockets in the game on extremely powerful planes. Take for example the Spitfire Mark 24. It's a 6.7 super prop that gives early jets nightmares. It has a strong engine, good turn rate, and 4 Mark 5 Hispano 20 mils. But most importantly, it could carry RP3, 8 of them to be precise. Back in the day these one-shotted everything, even if it wasn't a direct hit. Now you have to actually hit a target in a fairly weaker spot to kill them. But even crazier is the Firefly. There are 2 variants of it currently in the game. The first can take 8 RP3 rockets, and the second can take 16, which if you hit every single time, can give you up to 8 kills. Did I mention it has 4 Hispano Mark 5s, and that it sits at 4.0? The RP3 are 150mm HE rockets. Imagine 2 KV2 HE shells hitting you at once from the top. In conclusion, rockets may be aren't the most reliable thing in the world, but learning how to use them can be extremely satisfying and rewarding, as they are smaller than bombs, and if used correctly can have more devastating effect. You might think I forgot about Japan. No, I didn't. I just don't care, mostly due to the fact I never really played Japan. But I do know they have S-21 type rockets. So my top 5 rockets are: number 5. The HVAR. They really aren't that powerful anymore. Although they can still kill vehicles, they struggle when facing any kind of armor. Number 4. RS-132. These rockets are pretty good at killing most of the targets you will face. The only problem with them is that they are quite rare. The only line that gets them is the IL-2 line, and a lot of those planes are bad at fighting fighters, which is what you will likely engage playing as close air support in Tank RB. Number 3. S-21s. These are very good at their job. If you hit the target you generally one-shot them. The only problem is, you only get them on jets, and at that BR, you will face radar-guided SBAA, which will completely and utterly deny any attempt of ground pounding. Number 2. RP3. These should be number 1 due to their effectiveness. But, 1. The British lineups aren't that strong anymore. 2. This isn't only about effectiveness, but also about enjoyment. Not to say they aren't enjoyable to use. And 3. This is my list, and so it will be heavily influenced by my opinion. Number 1. The Werfer Granite, aka the low-tier German S-21s. Learning how to use these rockets was not such a pleasant experience, as the reticle isn't centered, and that makes them weird to use at first. But after some practice these are the best rockets at the moment. Not only do you unlock them at fairly low tier, you also get them on planes that are quite powerful. In my opinion the Bf-109G6 is the best choice. Besides the rockets, you get a 30mm Mk108 that absolutely decimates anything and everything. The only downsides are the repair costs and the fact that they are not centered, and learning how to use them on this plane will make you want to jump out of a 5-story building. So there you go. Go out there and show the average Doom that rockets are still the best close air support weapon in the game.
You can lift your head up to the sky, take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines with your shattered frame of mind. Or instead you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow you can find a slightly